should be showing. No idea if we're live or not.
Hey, if we're live. Hey guys.
It appears we're live, so hooray!
Hi, we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Church Marketing Sucks page for this interview with Kelley Hartnett. Woohoo! I'm Jeanette Yates, and I am one of Kelley's colleagues or buddies or whatever on the Courageous Storytellers membership site. And I am excited to welcome her today. Kelley, you just have had this great book published. You got this. Whoop, whoop. A Pep Talk for Church Communicators. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. And so, Kelley, I would love it if you would just introduce yourself to our people today and let us know a little bit about you.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Kelley Hartnett. I have been in the church communications realm for, 11 or 12 years now, I think it is. I started completely accidentally, which at the time that I started was every church communicator's story.
Right.
It wasn't really a profession that people even thought about. I think that's changing now, thankfully. But I was just filling in at the front desk at my church. And over time, I transitioned from that to doing the bulletin to being really unhappy with the website, which all of those things, right? So I went from being at the front desk to being in the senior leadership position totally unexpectedly. It's not at all what I expected to do.
Right. Well, and I think even today, I was hired as a church communicator, but even in the 5 years I've been working, or 4 years, the job has shifted. So I think we all kind of had that same experience of, it wasn't what it was when we started. So we can identify with that. So I really want to get started talking about this book. I'm like a natural, I love encouragement anyway. I'm a cheerleader fan, even though I was never actually a cheerleader. But anyway, but I love this book because it's basically like having your own personal cheerleader all the time. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is what really strikes me about this book for church communicators is a lot of the stuff that's out there for us as church communicators is all about a strategy for this, download this pack of social media resources, 5 tips to do this. It's all about strategy and hustle. What made you want to write the Pep Talk book?
So first of all, I want to say hey to Beth because she chimed in.
Hey, Beth.
Kevin Hendricks, who's the editorial director for Church Marketing Sucks, actually came up with the idea. But when it was first pitched to me, I said yes in about 5 minutes. I really didn't have much encouragement to take it on. And I think that's because, you're right, most of the books available to us as communicators are very how-to, very practical,
right.
Awesome.
Yes.
But the way I'm wired, if I'm not feeling good about my abilities, if I don't feel like I have the right gifts, if I'm caught in the comparison game, I can't adequately use the resources that are presented to me. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to offer some encouragement to church communicators so that they hopefully can get headspace and use the things that are presented to them. The other thing is it was just an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
Church communicators are my favorite people on the planet. They're the most tenacious, go get them, intuitiveness, and people that I've ever met. They put up with it on a daily basis than just about any other position I can think of.
Yeah.
To have the opportunity to really pour into them and let them know that they're not alone. Let them know that they try to get it, even pastors don't, or the children's ministry director doesn't.
Yeah.
Walking dogs doesn't. There are people that are going to get it. So. Yeah.
And that's nice to know that somebody gets it. So, and you've kind of already mentioned this, but is there a reason, and like I said, you kind of mentioned this, but is there more that you want to say about why it is so important to have encouragement as a church communicator, like that specific role as a church communicator? Why is it so important for us to be encouraged?
Yeah, so I just think, I think our role is naturally fraught with what I call fraud demons. I think most of us are figuring things out as we go along. We're kind of building the plane as we fly it. And I don't know. Maybe this is just me. Maybe this tells you way more about my mental health than it should. But I have a lot of self-doubt. I worry that I'm not doing things well. And when you're in that kind of an emotional state, it works against you, right? It's hard to do well at your job if you don't feel like you can.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Articulating that well. But I think to be able to stay in a place in our heart, in our head, in our soul that is like, nope, we've got this. We can do this. It's hard, but it's worth it. I think will help us in the long run to do our jobs more effectively.
Yes, and I also think that, and please, if you let me know if you agree, but one of the things that I think is really important about being encouraged as a church communicator is, our job is often we're kind of ahead of the game, hopefully, maybe than other people in our same workspace, where we're trying new things, we're trying a new strategy or a new tool or a new tip. And so there's not an established, we're not sure if it's, we don't have the basis to know, yes, this is working yet, or yet, no, it's not. We have to have that encouragement to try these new things constantly and be okay with that insecurity of not knowing. Like you said, that's going to be a natural thing, but it's going to come up often.
That's right. And sometimes things are not going to go well. But if everything is going well all the time, you might not be pushing yourself beyond the boundaries that you find to right, Jeanette, to have some encouragement to kind of push forward and push that envelope, I think is helpful.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially that might find themselves in the position of a church communicator, maybe they were that administrative assistant or something at a time, where they're used to having a certain set of tasks that are pretty clear. When it's done, when it's done well. You have your APA manual and you have your your guidelines, and then now it's like, oh, and now we're going to be on Facebook, and now we're going to do all this stuff, and you don't have that same measuring stick. You don't have that same thing. And so it's a little bit, it's hard to go outside of your box when that. And so to have that encouragement to say, you can do it, it's not going to be perfect, which is one of my favorite things in here, is like, you're not perfect, you're going to make mistakes, but being free to do that. So I found that very encouraging.
So like back in the day when it might have just, we might have had administrative assistants doing bulletins. And I know some folks watching this might still be, which is awesome, but the pace of change has rapidly increased too. So back in the day, we had to learn new things, but it seems like now we have to learn them constantly. Like every day there's something new. Facebook has changed the algorithm, or Snapchat went wonky. I don't know what's happening with Snapchat right now. You know what I mean? Like, right.
We had to learn something new just to do this today. We had to.
Working.
So yeah, we're constantly learning. That's true. So I could talk the whole time myself about all the things I love about the book, but I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite chapter from the book?
Yeah, that's a great question. It probably depends on the day you ask. Today, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed myself, and like I have too many things happening all at the same time. So I think today the chapter that would speak to me personally would be the one on avoiding the whoosh.
Yes.
So for those of you who have not read the book, whoosh is the sound of a church communicator going up in flames.
Yes.
Which of course speaks to burnout.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to be very intentional and strategic about putting boundaries and processes in place that protect us.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from a time perspective, or we will absolutely get burned out. I remember, Jeanette, when I told you that I've been in church communications for over a decade, you're like, wow, how have you burnout,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there will be seasons, I say this in the book, where you'll kind of heat up a little bit, and you might even ignite for just a moment.
Yes.
But the goal is to make sure that that's not what we're sustaining. We want to make sure that we're taking good care of ourselves. Because if we're not taking good care of ourselves, we can't do anything for people around us either. I know that's cliche, but it's so true.
Yes. Well, and I think that and you can, again, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the chapter where you kind of lay out the idea of No, I think it might have been before. But one of the things that I really liked was when you talk about putting things in order.
Yeah.
And God is first. Is that the same chapter? Yes. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I was never really great at doing this. I think my family, if any of them are watching this, would be like, yeah, right. You weren't really. I think it's important to keep three things in the right priority order. God first, relationships second, work third.
Yeah.
To be in alphabetical order, you're really struggling. But I think, especially when we're feeling like we're not equipped well to do our job, God put us in a position for a reason. I think that's served for such a time as this.
Yes.
God will not put us in situations that God will not also help us to navigate. But if we're not tapping into that, we'll be trying to pedal under our own power, and it's really easy to collapse under our own weight in those situations. And so to really focus on making sure that we prioritize time with God, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, whatever it is, that we can just connect,
Right.
that helps us get through our day. And then relationships, we can't sacrifice our family on the altar of church. We just can't. And that, as church communicators, I think is particularly difficult because the work is never done.
Mm-hmm.
The work is honestly of eternal significance. So it's hard to know when enough is enough.
Right.
So to be intentional about putting blocks of time on our calendar for our families that are non-negotiable, or for deep friendships that feed us, those blocks of time have to become non-negotiable. So once you have God in place and relationships in place, then fill the rest of it with work. Like go to don't think you're going to fit your family in after you have all your needs covered.
Yes. That is so true. And that really speaks to me. I attended a conference many years ago, and Beth Moore was part of it in some way. And she made a comment that has really stuck with me throughout my many different phases of ministry. And it speaks to what you're talking about today. She says, no success in your ministry will make up for a failure in your family. And I remember, and I think too, like maybe you're saying, well, I don't have a family, maybe, but no success in your ministry is going to make up for a failure in those relationships with the people that you love. And I think that's important to remember. And, my kids are getting older, and what they used to not notice because they were playing with their toys, and so I could be on my computer doing things, they do notice now. And so being able to incorporate them into what I'm doing for ministry is a way that I kind of do that. But that is a struggle for me, and I'm sure many other communicators as well.
And I had to really learn to watch my mouth around my kids too. I'm not sure I was really successful at, but if I was having a particularly frustrating day with church work, I had to try to be careful not to my kids were around, because I didn't want them to become bitter toward church.
Right.
The community. So they must not be on this broadcast. Render an opinion on how well I did at that, but that's something that's important.
Yeah, and I'm really, that's a good word for me as well, because as I'm a church member that works at my church, and so learning some of the things that were behind the scenes kind of caused me to have to rethink some things. And I think, my children don't have to be a part of that right now. There's faith causes you to ask lots of questions as you move through your life. And I don't necessarily need to be a part of doing that right now with my kids, for sure. So I was thinking about, you're such a great encourager, and this book has been so encouraging to so many of us so far. But I want to know what encourages you the most.
Oh gosh. So I'm a words of affirmation girl. I wish I weren't. I know that lots of professional Christians will tell you that you need to just take your value in God and don't be defined by your work, but not who you are, but whose you are. And I love that. That sounded really bad, because I all of that. But I'm a perfectionist, only child, daughter of an Air Force colonel. And so kind words and kudos mean a lot to me, and they help me to move forward. To the point where if somebody sends me an email that says something nice about my work, I put it in a folder so that when I'm having a bad day, I can get back into the habit.
Yeah, so that's one of the things you mentioned in the book as well to encourage us is when you do get some positive feedback, because a lot of times we only hear when like there's something misspelled in the bulletin or we've, posted the wrong graphic. So when we do hear something positive, so talk a little bit about that and how you do that and some of the different ways to collect those good vibes.
I mean, literally, I get an email. I have a folder in mail that's called kudos. And if I get an email from somebody, I drag it into that folder. Or when I was actually in a local church environment, people would, every once in a great moon, I would get a thank you card from somebody.
Wow.
That's terrible, but wow. Like, we don't get them enough, right?
And like to have an actual card sent, that.
So I had a physical folder right next to my desk. And I just developed, I wouldn't say it's a habit, but when I was feeling particularly overwhelmed or terrible at my job, I would just go and look at those things. Mm-hmm. So here's something to keep in mind. I think most people enjoy having a kind of word said to them.
Yes.
It's something that is encouraging about encouraging others. Yes. So the Pep Talk book isn't just about us, mostly about us. It's Church but there is a section in there about starting a kudos revolution. Like, start in your office and try to create, especially if you're in a work culture that's a little bit discouraging or a little backbiting. Not that churches ever get that way, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Things. So to kind of create that revolution of positivity and encouragement and kind of words, I think is really important. Or learn your team's love language.
Yes.
Like, need a bar of chocolate to feel appreciated. You need a kind word. Some people want that kind word to be said in public. Some people want it to be sent via email. So learn what feeds the people around you.
Right.
And it becomes reciprocal.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I started doing that when I read it in the book, I actually, within the week, I got 2 kind emails and I saved them. But then I have another person that comes to me regularly and says kind things. And so I make sure I did this for both emails and for this person. I let them know how much it meant to me. So I actually replied back to these emails and said, thank you very much, and kind of engaged in that and told them how much it meant to me. And the person that comes and talks to me all the time, I said to her, she said, is there anything I can do to help you? And I said, yes, keep reminding me that I'm not alone. Keep giving me attaboys and all that kind of stuff, because that's really helpful. And on those days where you do feel like you don't got this, right. It's a reminder that, that people are paying attention and you are making a difference and it matters. So that's very, very helpful. So we just talked about one of the things that you have in this book that's a helpful suggestion. What is the way that you think is the best way to use this book? Like, do you have a suggestion for, is this a book I sit down and read straight through like I did, wish I did?
So the book was not necessarily designed to where you have to read it from front to back in order. It is kind of designed so that you can just pick it up and read a chapter and get a little encouragement and move on. So I think it really just depends on who you are. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
I hope it's a fun read. I hope people are enjoying reading it. I think you can finish it in just a couple of sittings. So, some people might choose to go ahead and read it front to back and dog-ear some corners and highlight some things that they can easily flip back to when they need a specific piece of encouragement.
Well, it's really great. Like Kelley said, you can just read the book straight through, and it is fun. I mean, when I read the first page of the first chapter, I was like, it's like she's writing out of my brain right now. I mean, it was so spot on. And there were so many times where I would, we feel so alone, like nobody gets why the font thing is a big deal, and then to read what you write is like, yes, that's exactly how I feel, or that's exactly what happens at my church. And so that can be encouraging in itself, just to know that like, this is something that is around, like All of us are experiencing it. We're in this together, people. And so that is really encouraging. But I think once you read it through, then you'll be able to remember like, oh, what was that she said about? And then you can go back and look at it again. So I suggest both things, read it all the way through and then dog ear. And then you can go back for that midday pep talk, pick me up kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, as we kind of close out our time here, I have a couple of more questions for you. You know, for the people that are listening to this either right now or that watch it on the replay, what specific encouragement do you want to give our church communicator family today? What would you say to them today? It's at the time we're recording this or doing this, Lent is a week away. We have Lent coming up and then leading into Easter for people that, you know, people are preparing for Easter. So it's getting ready. As you point out in your book, not that we ever have a down season, but if we did, it's about to be over.
So today, most of all, I said this in my podcast, but today I'm still feeling this. Church communicators, it's okay to say no. So now, as you're preparing for Lent and Easter, now is not the time to say yes to 4 new projects or experiments that a ministry leader comes to you with. It's okay for you to say, no, and here's how to say no. Okay, don't just say you're out of your mind, although that would be fun. It's just not very effective. Give you a lot of emotional equity with the ministry leader. What you can say is, I love your idea, and I want to be able to give it my full attention. And so what I'd like to do is push pause until April 2nd, and we'll pick it up right after Easter, and we can talk about how to make this the most successful it can be. Because right now, I'm feeling a lot of pressure with some big rocks. And your ministry is important enough to me, but I want to make sure that I can move forward.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent.
You're saying no, but not.
Right.
That the only way you're going to survive as a church communicator is if you can kind of tamp down your tendencies. Say no when you need to say no.
Well, and I think too, one of the things as you started talking, I was thinking about this. In addition to all of those projects that we get from work, there's also right now we're getting a lot of emails that say, come do this webinar and learn all your Easter stuff and come do this and you'll figure out all this. And we're like, yes, I need to do that webinar and I need to sign up for this free online course and I need to do that. And I love to go to school. Like I would still be in school now. Like I loved learning at school. So like tell me I can get a certificate or a free course or something. I'm all in. And so I think also we have to be able to say no to ourselves. And like, it's more fun to go do the webinar sometimes than it is to do the project that you're supposed to be working on.
Now, and let me segue just a little bit on that point and do a shameless plug for something I'm involved in, which is Courageous Storytellers.
Yes.
Courageous Storytellers is a membership site from the people who bring the church marketing sucks. $29 a month. And every month we add new, practical, easy, digestible resources for church communicators who need help. So 1 month we might focus on websites, 1 month we might focus on social media. This month we're doing hyper-local outreach and evangelism. And it's resources. We do 12 to 15 new resources per month posted on the first of the month. But the cool thing is those resources live in perpetuity.
Right. Yep.
If you see something, like I get overwhelmed when I say, ooh, sign up for this webinar. It's happening tomorrow. You might not be able to catch it ever again. I'm like, oh.
Right.
Courageous Storytellers, if the content is always available, regardless of when you join the site, you have everything available to you. And so you can make yourself a list of, oh, I want to make sure I go back and check that. And then you can, as opposed to feeling like the scarcity mindset that you're running out of time.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thing, was to tell people, we want you to, we want you to go check out the book, and you can do that in a bunch of different ways. I think you can go to, is it Pep Talk Book?
Pep Talk Book.
Yeah, peptalkbook.com. You can find it on the Church Marketing Sucks website, has a link, and you can get it from Amazon and all your favorite places. But if you want encouragement, like straight to you more often than that even, we would love to welcome you to the church or Courageous Storytellers group, because when you have the membership, what do they get as part of their membership, where they get all the resources? They get...
Yeah, so in addition to all of those resources and webinars and things like that, you get access to our Courageous Storytellers Facebook group.
Yay! That's my favorite.
It's a nice, smallish group of people, so it's not intimidating to ask questions. It's not overwhelming with content. It's just folks can ask questions and get encouragement in real time, and that's been a lot of fun. It's a growing community. We just launched that a couple of months ago, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that is one of the ways that you can get connected with Kelley or even I, because we're both on the Facebook group often, and we would both love to chat with you and answer any questions, and of course give you a pep talk whenever you need it. We're here. But like I said, we want you to check out the book at peptalkbook.com. and check us out at courageousstorytellers.com. And is there anything else we want to say today to our people?
You guys need anything from me, and I really need this. Like, I'm not the kind of person who says, hey, get in touch. Like, if you email me, I'll respond. It might take me a couple of days, but I'll get back to you. So feel free to be in touch with me. You can get me on Twitter or Instagram at Kelley Hartnett, CelleyJRT. You can also email me at Kelley@KelleyHartnett.com, and do the blog at KelleyHartnett.com as well.
Well, yeah. Kelley, thank you so much for chatting with us today. I know that we are all very excited to read the book and get that pep talk that we so desperately need, especially heading into the Easter season. And I really appreciate your time. And I look forward to hopefully getting to chat with all of you people out there on the church, the Courageous Storytellers Facebook group, if you become a member of our Courageous Storytellers membership. So anyway, we're going to sign off for now, and we look forward to seeing y'all again really soon. Oh, didn't mean to throw that. Bye, guys.